Gamescom, the biggest video game convention in the entire world, is currently underway in Cologne, Germany. So we thought we'd talk about some of the most breaking news and also Apex Legends controversy. So come join us for this video gamey, very confusingly coffee branded, not sponsored by any of these bowl of dude soup.
Slurp, slurp, slurp. Taking it a lot is thirsty.
You're all very distracting.
Covered in juice.
Is that how I sound?
That just makes you a true performer.
Thank you. I think.
To act amid distractions. There's a camera in your face, and there's a director screaming at you, and somebody's spritzing you with water.
There's a timer up there, which seems passive aggressive.
Yeah, we're professional now. We got a timer.
Omar speeds it up if we're hanging on
that's
too
the
long.
time.
Time is moving.
It's not moving.
2:08 post meridian. I've heard of it.
This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Stitch Fix, Hymns, and Bespoke Post. We will hear more from them in a bit. But first, I wanted to jump into a story about the Apex Legends controversy, which I know was covered on Inside Gaming.
Speaking of, we have a special guest.
We did.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I should introduce everyone. I was going to forget.
I forget every time.
I'm Alana. This is Connor. This is your first time being
Connor.
on.
This is my first time on the pod.
Yeah, welcome. What do you do at Inside
Do I
Gaming?
tell you
Contest
more,
or
right?
something?
Yeah. Long time listener, first time appearance.
I'm very proud to have you.
Yes.
What do you do at Inside Gaming? What is your job role?
I am a producer at Inside Gaming.
Is that right?
Right?
I'm gonna let her know after
Why
the
are
podcast
you confirming
is
with the eyeballs if that's okay or not?
Because I don't actually think about what my title is.
No, you'll find out tomorrow. If
I
you
just
were right
like
or
to
not.
make myself as valuable.
Your title is now unemployed.
Producer?
You're one of the last remaining people of the machinima,
Yeah.
I guess we got Scorch Earth policy. I
I came
guess.
from a late stage machinima.
Yeah.
boy.
Which was
Endgame Machinima was.
Yes.
Do you have
harrowing.
PTSD?
Yeah, but I mean that's that and machinima has been like a whole thing to deal with. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I got to see it at the end. They handed out dog tags, they played Changes by David Bowie, and then they laid a bunch of people off.
Wait, they actually handed out dog tags?
Yeah, it says I can show you. It says together we achieved greatness.
There's so for years they were. I don't want this always to be the weekly. Let's remember the bad times, but there were so many tone deaf things. Like their party planning committee was called the Fun Police.
Yeah, they had to stop doing that. Actually,
Did somebody take offense at their tongue-in-cheek?
But the fun police are people who stop the fun.
Right,
they
they don't
police
understand what
fun.
that means
Get it?
at
It's
all.
fun. It's fun. It's funny. It's ironic.
Is it?
Get
I
it?
don't think they knew that.
it's satire.
Yes, thank you. It's fourth level humor.
Man, oh man.
Anyway, also joined by Adam and Lawrence.
Hello.
Yo,
What's
We were at
up?
the cinema too.
You were. Yes, I was not.
but I had a choice to leave.
Do you have dog tags?
Hell no.
Didn't think so.
They
really got
they
out
slapped
there
us with a lawsuit. That's
Speaking
the
of
dog
dog
tag I
tags,
got.
There were some whack-ass dog tags in Death Stranding. I don't know if that's where you were going with this, but
No,
She
we were
said
gonna
Apex.
talk about Apex first. There are no dog tags in Apex
There
Legends?
might be.
I don't think there are. But if they did exist,
They
you might
cost
have
a
to
lot of
pay like
money.
$150 for them. That's the controversy.
bullshit.
So, well, apparently one particular axe in Apex Legends was going to be $150 with microtransactions,
So
and that's
that
where
I
this
hit
all
the
spawned
table.
from.
That gets tossed around a lot because it's an awfully powerful thing. $170 for one axe. It was like you had to buy your way through tiers of stuff to be able to unlock it.
Right.
So it wasn't just one axe for $170. It was a whole dumb meta game, which if you didn't grind it all and only paid money, yes, it was $170 to get that skin. But that's not the way the system was intended. They also didn't communicate it super well. So it's crazy how like free-to-play games and microtransaction-based games always get this one headline that's like, everything in the new GT update would cost $3,400. But that's like absolute worst case scenario that I don't think any of the developers expect players to actually
Of course.
do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But that's where the
sorry.
controversy came from, I
Yes.
suppose. So this is from extremetech.com. That basically surmises what happened.
That's the coolest
which
website.
Is that like a transformer
Something
outside?
is running into the building.
Bumblebee?
Sandwich Wiki, come with me.
Guess there's a loading truck.
Only you can help.
Over the
we need to go
weekend.
grief Apex scales.
Small fleshy boy, just what we need in our fight between gargantuan machines.
You put it in my chest.
Anyway, sorry.
Over the weekend, Apex Legends developer Drew McCoy took to Reddit to apologize for the various ways in which a recent in-game event, which is called the Iron Crown event, had missed the mark, which is basically him saying, we made the community mad by virtue of the microtransactions that exist in this event, and we are sorry. They owned it pretty well initially. He said the structure of the event broke previous promises that Respawn, the game's developer, had made regarding how loot would be distributed. Specifically, the company had promised that Apex packs, which are basically loot crates, would not be the only way to get loot. Apparently, Iron Crown event skins were initially distributed solely through these loot crates, which meant that their initial statement was wrong, basically. So people were angry. And he started off, just posting something to apologize for that. And then the whole thing pretty quickly devolved into commenters yelling at Respawn because they were very unhappy about this. And then Respawn yelling back at the commenters. So it turned into the internet. McCoy made a comment after seeing a bunch of personal attacks, which the quote is, "We said it before, but we will not engage with temper tantrums, and personal attacks or vitriolic threads are completely unacceptable. We took a look in the mirror this week and decided we hadn't met up obligations and are making changes because we believe in our approach. I've been in the industry long enough to remember when players weren't complete asshats to developers, and it was pretty neat. I forged a bunch of long-lasting relationships from back then. Will be awesome to get back there and not engaging with toxic people or asking how high one of mob screams jump is hopefully a start." So people are very much taking him calling gamers asshats very seriously there. And when I first read about it, it sounded to me like he was saying it to an individual, whereas he was saying it more broadly, which I don't know if it is better or worse.
So if someone calls a broad group an asshat, but then you feel personally attacked, what does that say about you?
You're an asshat.
They're wrong.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
I'm just going to find out.
Yeah. The subtext of that is that you should probably not base your cultural identity on the consumption of a form of media. So if you proudly self-identify as a gamer, thus any insults towards gamers you feel like apply solely to you, maybe you need to build out some dimensions of your character. That said, I am the world's #1 gamer, so I can speak on behalf of
So
all.
you're
That is
an
true.
asshat.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, proudly.
When I feel like it, and it's always ironic, unless it's not.
Okay.
And I will let you know well after the fact which one it is.
Thank you,
On my deathbed.
Lord Gamer. So Redditor Davis2 was one of the people who responded to the asshat comment and said, "Well, I guess you can also remember when developers weren't money-grabbing fucks that scam their players too. Anything from you in the future can die as quickly as it is released. IMO. And fuck anyone that's saying this is better. Take their dick out your mouth and have some respect for yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, I've gone over the top and I can blame the whiskey all I like, but I've gone from thinking, oh shit, these devs care to, yep, it's just as bad as EA's reputation. You had no choice but to answer risky comments, so get the fuck off your high horse." And then McCoy responded to this by saying he'd found the dick he was talking about earlier, in reference to another thread about people being dicks to developers. So he was like, found the dick. So basically he called a guy a dick. The guy was a dick.
He also
Yeah.
said, "Get the dick out of your mouth."
Yes.
And so
whilst
he's
being a dick.
So
Ah,
he's
dang it, I can't do it
sucking
anymore.
him.
There it is.
Hey.
That's the sound.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Booyah!
The only thing
Hey!
gamers love more than whiskey is letting you know that they drink whiskey.
Oh,
Specifically
yeah.
because it's cool.
Right. And
It's a
that's
very
capital
manly
G
alcohol.
gamers.
I don't drink White Claw. I drink whiskey.
Seltzer.
Whiskey highball is basically a white
Fucking
claw.
love whiskey
We
highball.
talked about
There
this
you
on IG though. It's
But I'm a
like
white girl.
even if that guy, however you see
White,
it,
you're Australian.
if he were being a dick or not or whatever, you as the game developer or PR person or anything, you are not allowed to call a spade a spade.
Here's the thing. You're the one doing a job in this communication. They are just a random person who is not representing a company. I think the fact that they did that is totally unacceptable, but I also think people were treating them like shit. So
Yes,
I feel like there's bad on both sides. Lawrence, you said it repeatedly when I was reading that quote, which is the game is free. And I'm in two minds about that. It is insane how mad people are about things they have to purchase in a free video game. But then some of these things are also very expensive. It's it's a very conflicting issue in that I'm against microtransactions. I will never pay money to buy anything. And I love Apex and will always enjoy Apex despite the fact that I am never spending any money on it. Fine with that.
I think the subtext is, and a lot of people got very close, and in some cases actually did elocute it properly, is that developers, especially of free-to-play games, and I feel like to a lesser degree even YouTube and Twitch, want you to feel like they're your friend when it benefits them.
Yeah.
But then there are those moments when it becomes obvious that it is a business. And I think a lot of consumers don't know how to justify those two things at the same time.
Yeah.
Like either we're best friends or you want me to pay money. It can't be both. So when they're playing the game feeling like they're the best buds of the developers and then the developers come out with a DLC pack, they're like, whoa, I thought we had an understanding. I thought we were chill. And now you're
Yeah.
asking me to pay $170. So it's like that betrayal feeling. It's almost like, I don't know, like somebody helps you move and then they ask you for $20. It's like that really changes the tone of what just happened.
I think that's escalated by the fact that this is Respawn and EA, because gamers are like, well, it's EA and I hate EA, but I like Respawn. I like what Respawn do. We like the people at Respawn. We like Vince Zampella and the whole team there. And then they're like, wait, but maybe you are just EA.
Sure.
And I
But
guess they can't.
It takes one bad move
Yeah.
for everyone to go, oh, everyone's sort of just waiting for you to fail.
I mean,
or
Bethesda, it was
fall on your
Fallout
face.
76, and everyone just turned.
Everyone's like so terrified of having their heart broken because, and I empathize with this. This is gamer talk happening. There was a long time when like video games were the most emotional resonance that I had in the world, and specifically playing them, I felt a connection to the people who made them. And especially with older games that had like a bunch of quirky messages and Easter eggs, I felt like they were almost my pen pals. Like we had a weird relationship based on that. And they made the things that I really loved. So I felt like we had a connection there. So I can see how if you've had your heart broken by too many like overly corporatized game makers that you're paranoid it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
And then in a situation like this, you feel a close connection to Respawn, but you're like, oh, EA's there, they might corrupt them. And then you get hit with this DLC. Like, oh, it's happening. No, my poor heart again. I thought we had a thing.
And I think a part of that is that, like, it being a free-to-play game that people have sunk a lot of time into, they feel like they're, like, helping out little guy Respawn. Maybe you can make Titanfall, and it'll be a cool single-player campaign. We'll help you out. And then this happens, and they're like, you just did what EA told you to, and our loyalties mean nothing. So I'm, like, very much understanding of every facet of this, except that I do, when you get a volume of comments on the internet, when you get a lot of the same thing, it's infuriating. So, like, if you are a Respawn dev and you're reading the same thing over and over and over and over again, I feel like that's probably the point that broke them rather than just one offhanded mean comment. But when you're applying to one guy, to that one guy and to everyone else, it looks like you just called that one guy out. It looks like you, as a dev, attacked a fan when really, and this is just me trying to offer a perspective that we have that is sort of unique in working on the internet, he's actually probably replying to everyone as a whole as a result of frustration of however many hours of reading this thread, rather than trying to attack one individual.
It's like when a dad or an uncle hits you. There's a lot of stuff. He's not hitting you. He's hitting his dad.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
And then you get to hit your dad later.
I'm just trying to put it in context that
Technically,
everyone.
yeah.
we all
Your
understand.
dad or uncle, not just any dad or uncle.
I got choked by my uncle. That was a different story.
I got choked by your uncle too.
Yeah, but you paid for it.
Yes, on the black market. I think this is interesting because it's like, yes, a lot of gamers do like feel this connections to devs, but they also feel a connection to a faceless developer like the company. And I feel like a lot of the people in the Reddit comments didn't realize that these were all going towards one person. And it's interesting to see it flipped around that one developer is trying to address a whole community of people, or I guess like bad actors in the comments, and it seems like it's focused down on one person. Like it's always conflating like a group of people with one person, and that misrepresentation is so clear in this situation.
That's also true. So one thing that I think came out after Inside Gaming was recorded yesterday was that Zampella released a statement on Twitter. He said, on Friday, we gave Apex fans an update on how we were changing the Iron Crown event. Some of the team then joined a discussion with our community on Reddit, and things got to a pretty bad place. Some of our folks crossed the line with their comments, and that's not how we want Respawn to be represented. I apologize to any of our fans that were offended. I will always stand behind the team here at Respawn and support them on speaking out against some of the toxic and nasty comments being directed at them, including everything from death threats to comments aimed at their family and loved ones. But we shouldn't contribute to it when we do comment and add to the very thing we want to prevent. We need to lead by example. Last week we didn't do that, and going forward we will be better. Having an open, healthy relationship with our community is incredibly important to all of us at Respawn, which in my mind is like, damn dog, nailed it. Because I agree that you should stick by your staff when people are treating them like shit, but what they did is hyper unprofessional and also kind of not understanding of the players who, in my mind, I was like, the game's free, why do you care? But that's my perspective as a human who doesn't buy microtransactions and wasn't going to do it anyway. I understand why other people who've invested a ton of time into this game and want to buy these things and want to constantly be a part of that ever-changing landscape feel like they've been pushed out. So I feel like Vince's statement is great.
Mm-hmm. And he's probably he's actually coming from the most unique place where he is obviously in charge of the studio. So if Titanfall isn't making money, that's Papa EA knocking and going, hey, what's going on? Why aren't you as good as FIFA? And then also he's in charge of a Star Wars game that's being made.
Yeah.
So he's got this really unique perspective where he's like, probably like, hey, Titanfall guys, you guys do your thing. Or sorry, not Titanfall. Wow. Apex guys, do your thing. I hope there's a Titanfall guy somewhere in there.
Didn't they basically confirm they're making another Titanfall?
They, I think,
EA said
that
something
in a
about
way.
that.
Well, there was like some articles about they were like considering it, and I think it kind of got backburned a little bit with the Apex maintenance and
Yeah.
development on that.
I don't know if you guys remember, I got a phone call telling me that there was going to be a Titanfall Battle Royale. And I remember I told some of you in the office, I was like, I got this phone call saying a Titanfall Battle Royale is dropping Monday. They're not announcing it, they're just dropping it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's what I was told, is Titanfall Battle Royale. And then it was like Apex Legends, which is obviously not
There were
Titanfall.
some leaks too. Remember that, like some YouTube videos of like Titanfall's getting a battle royale mode and all this stuff, and I was like, interesting. So word's getting out here and there.
Yeah, the
I wonder
map
if that was their
dropped a
guerrilla
year ahead.
marketing or something.
Maybe.
That'd be
Oh yeah, the map thing.
The map was
Yeah.
like a leak because I remember reading that a developer was like, they like waited with bated breath when that came out, and everyone was like, "That's bullshit," and then they were like,
and it was the exact map.
Yes, it
bullshit.
was.
That was the crazy thing.
"Yes, the shit of a bull."
Yeah.
I mean, I still hope they're doing Titanfall. Regardless, it's like this is a guy who's managing lots of things, and then he probably has this perspective of. I'm actually glad he said I'm standing by my people rather than
That's
throwing them
cool.
under the
Yeah,
bus.
I mean, they stood by each other as part of it too. So just to get another quote out real quick, community manager Jay Frechette came to McCoy's defense and said, so it's fine for you to call us liars, full of shit, and other personal attacks when we communicate an apology and update to the event, but we're immature when we call people out on it. Got it. And
that was his reply to Vince Zampella.
yeah,
No, I'm
no.
just kidding.
No,
That was before the Zampella statement, I think.
Yes,
right?
correct. That was during the Reddit feud earlier. But I think like there's this video that is probably my favorite YouTube video that's called "This Is Phil Fish," that is literally about the way that people. It's about Phil Fish sort of, but it's about the way that people as individuals expect things of people who've become brands, and I just highly recommend watching it. It's fascinating because that's the perspective he's coming from. He's wrong. You're right. As a representative of Respawn, you're not allowed to call people out on it in this way. You can't be this aggressive. You shouldn't be doing this. But it's a very conflicting thing to deal with when you're in that position that most people wouldn't have. So
The aggravating thing is there are people who take advantage of that. They know that you're not allowed to talk back. So they will use you as an emotional punching bag.
yeah.
Which I guess that's just the job. That happens to us sometimes, especially with Inside Gaming. If we have the audacity to report on games in a way that contradicts any popular narrative, oh my gosh, the personal insults get pretty intense.
Yeah, I had a couple of dudes try to use my doxed information to get back at me because of the Inside Gaming reporting on Borderlands. And
But
I
you
was
weren't
like,
even part of that.
nice work.
You weren't even remotely part of that.
I was part of one of those videos.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
but they were just like, well, wouldn't it be a shame if we leaked Alana's information? And I was like, thank God it's all changed.
Yes, it would be
You
a
can't do
shame.
that. But like that is
that would
already
actually
happening.
be abjectly terrible.
Quite a shame.
Hey, lástima.
But the thing that has occurred to me is there are people who are shockingly good about acting in bad faith, about just like legit being bullies. They will push you and they will hit you and they will say what they need to say to get a reaction, and then they take that reaction, strip all the context away, and then show everyone else why you're such a hideous
Because
person.
they want to cancel you. That's cancel culture
Yeah.
in a nutshell. Is people are desperate to do it.
I guess you talked about the power dynamic of it. I think and I wish people could come to this realization that if you just live life as a consumer, and I hate to get so like college grade philosophical about it, but if all you do is consume, you don't make anything, then you don't feel like you have any authorship over the world, which I get. But then the way some people choose to regain that power is by leveraging complaint over the things that are made. So it's like, well, I'm too lazy and dumb as fuck, so I can't make anything of value to this world, but I will complain about this thing until it's tuned the way I want it. And then I feel some authorship over that and some power over my world.
We did
Boy,
it,
I wish people...
right?
Sorry?
Like, we did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
We
did
did it, Reddit.
Dudes high five because
Yeah.
we got this game canceled.
As
or-
someone who's
Which-
reviewed a game or two, I feel personally insulted.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No.
I gave most games like a 10 out of 10 because I'm spineless.
Also, all games are great in some way.
I'm just always happy that all these ones and zeros are lining up in a way that it's
Pleasing.
that it has come together.
This number seems bigger than the other
Yeah.
ones. It
I'm
makes
like-
me warm.
Yeah.
Bar filled up and then the sparkly
All
happened.
the Matrix numbers came together to create a railroad system that Booker could ride on.
Hey, a new Matrix got announced also.
Hell yeah, it
But
did.
yes, obviously,
Practicing my kung fu all morning.
the things that I'm saying and the things that Lawrence is saying
like
are
every
like
day.
us trying to look at this socially, not us defending what they did. The most upvoted post on the subreddit claimed that Respawn had alienated the player base, which I feel is true.
Is this the copy pasta?
Yeah, so this one gets a little silly. He said, you committed the ultimate cardinal sin. You got personal. You, as a team of professionals trying to make money, got personal. You got personal and decided to insult your player base, calling us asshats and freeloaders. Not a wise move. But they did actually call them freeloaders in a positive way. They were
Yeah.
like, most of our community is freeloaders, which we love. I'm
Right.
a freeloader when it comes to Apex.
Well, they were trying to, and this is the tough part, is that there are people in the audience who feel qualified to question their business decision making. having access to none of the information. So
Sure.
there are people in the audience who say this is too much for a skin, and then people on the Apex side are like, I saw the graph, dude. It's not, and that's actually the sweet point. Like, we see all the numbers. Why are you? So I think it's in reference to that, or like they were trying to educate the audience, say like, look, most people don't pay money, and that's fine. That's why we made it that way on purpose.
Yeah.
But that means if you're not paying any money, you have to be a little tolerant when we ask some other people to pay money.
Right.
So sorry for the whole derail, but
No, of course. I think that's important. And this whole thing is just, like I said, a lot of unfortunate people being angry about something that I understand virtually every side of.
There's something really important too in that guy's statement. Person, assume it's a guy. They said, Respawn, you alienated us, when really it was two guys.
yeah.
Right.
That's the danger of
Late
this
at night
whole
on a
thing.
Friday.
Respawn is made up of what? 150
billion?
to 3 million somewhere developers. And these two guys, now you're saying all of Respawn. So think about all the people who are hard at work at their computer going, oh, wow, an AMA. Oh, no. And it's like,
Yeah.
and there's probably someone who works at Respawn, most likely, just saying statistically, who's like, yeah, I think these prices are kind of crazy, but I just make skins.
Yeah. Well, that's my job.
That's my job. I just do the thing, and I make an okay salary, and I hope one day my wife and I can have a baby that has health benefits. It's like, so
Yeah.
it's tough when two people can ruin the image of an entire company when it's they don't represent all of Respawn, but in that moment they did, and that's the scary tightrope you're
It's the
walking.
thing you have to be aware of, and it's like that's a lesson that I learned when I tweeted saying that I had been 100% told that The Last of Us Part 2 was coming out this year, and then there were articles all over the place that was ex-IGN employee says, and I was like, I was just a tweet on my personal Twitter that I didn't back up in any way, and then it makes headlines, and I was like, I can't.
So you gotta put that thing in your Twitter bio says, my opinions do not reflect that.
You know
of my
what difference
employer.
that makes?
Zero.
None.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interrupt a good headline, that's for sure.
Yeah. Hell no.
There is tons more to say on this. Obviously, check out the Inside Gaming video. But for now, we do need to read an ad. How would you describe your style? I personally dress in tights, t-shirts, and sneakers to work every single day because if I am literally wearing slightly more stylish gym clothes, I have absolutely no excuse not to work out. There you have it. That's why I dress the way that I do. But I still don't work out anyway sometimes. But lucky for me and for you, however you dress, Stitch Fix has personal stylists that can help you look your best. It's less about one size fits all and more about this fits your style personally. Basically, Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that delivers your favorite clothing brands right to your door. So if you want to get started with Stitch Fix and have them deliver you an awesome line of clothes that suit you, go to stitchfix.com/dudesoup. There is no commitment required and you only pay for what you keep. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free, which is awesome. Plus, the $20 styling fee is automatically applied towards anything you keep from your box. Get started today at stitchfix.com/dudesoup and get an extra 25% off when you keep everything in your box. That's stitchfix.com/dudesoup.
No, Adam, I agree
we
100%, I think. And I've seen this dynamic happen a lot where there's escalation of a few, but everyone sees it as two groups that have to like follow the tone of each. So if one person from the gamer side says one thing that's more powerful and then the Respawn dev is like, whoa, that's not okay, you can't say that. Then suddenly all of Respawn is here and all gamers are here. And then one other dude in the Reddit punches it up here. And it's like each person thinks that the loudest one talking represents the entire group, which is never the case.
Yeah.
But everyone loves a good us versus them. And
Yeah.
it's just so prolific in all internet discourse now.
There's also, if there's anything that I know about the games industry, it's that every company is on fire. Okay, so every company,
Because they're just lit.
no, like all of them
100%.
have a million fires that
crying
someone
emoji.
is trying to figure out. None of them are particularly organized. They're all like, oh my God. And they have all these departments that don't know what they're doing. But a lot of like gamers or the community is like, no, clearly though this went through PR. They wouldn't have done this without talking it through. And like EA must have known about it. And it doesn't happen that way. Everything's in shambles. No one functions the way that you think.
Even when things go right, there's always an email saying, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
You're like, but we did it right. Like, doesn't matter. Right? Like, this happens at every company.
Yeah, if
Things are a lot
something
harder than you
If
think.
something has gone right, it has probably accidentally skipped the step in the approval process.
It pissed somebody off.
There's one less cook in the kitchen.
Yeah,
right?
which is a miracle every time.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you tend to think, or at least I did, going back to my hard gamer days, like games are immaculately conceived by like the Blue Angels. So like come to work every morning, park exactly where they're supposed to, walk in, bash out exactly the code they're supposed to, and then once the game is done, it like radiates with light, and they like have a pair of tongs and carry it to like this disc sleeve that they
it
put
literally goes gold. They pour a molten gold into a mold that they've made that is just the shape of a Blu-ray disc.
I feel like the best way I could visualize the way I thought video games were made were people with like tubes on their heads feeding into a computer, and they're just dreaming
like
things.
Minority Report.
Yeah, and then so when someone go, I hope the game has this, like, you got it. And they think harder, and then it processes. And that's why when you read like...
It's like the 2049 Dream Architect with their little like dream key fab necklace thing. Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
But like you read magazines where they'd say like, how far is Gran Turismo 3 in development? It's about 80% done. That number means nothing because there's a game beginning to end, but it's broken and the cars are upside down, but it's 80%.
We're 80% towards the launch date.
Right, because these annoying game journalists, reviewer types who were doing magazines would call Sony and be like, what's your number? And they're like,
they look at the
80.
progress bar on the wall.
Well, I think they would just look at the month and go, it's 6 months away, so 50%
I think
done.
older games probably had a more defined scope. So if you set out and like this game will have endurance races, it'll have 20 cars that we have the licenses for. I think older games maybe it was a little easier to actually put a number to it, even though that was still bullshit. Like anything could fly off the rails at any moment.
EA had a system. I know this was the case for at least Battlefield 4, but I believe it was for more of their games, where they would have each level that's in the game, and then like they literally have a board in their office, and it would be like, this level is currently marked under red because it is completely unfucking playable. This one's green, it works. This one's yellow, it doesn't really work at all. And I know before Battlefield 4 came out, maybe like 4 months before release of that game, it was entirely yellow with some red, no green. Wow. It was just like, that's how crunch happens, is that they were like, the whole thing's broken, but all the levels exist.
I always assumed any game that's like a hallway shooter, behind the walls are the ghosts and the like
just push them out.
Yeah, it's just
it's all
the spirits of like broken code that are like trying to get out.
Yeah.
They're like we created this hallway, and it's like the Witcher level where they just buried all the bugs underneath a tree somewhere.
Yeah, it's so good.
There's so many anecdotes of old game dev where they're like, well, we just found out that if we put this bookshelf right against the wall, the entire game crashed. So we scooted it 1 pixel away and everything was fine.
Yep.
And that's how it shipped.
Games are hard to make.
Yeah.
So there was one more quote from this whole thing that I wanted to read, which is from a Reddit user called RameCV, which we are assuming is Rame Vincent, who's an engineer from the studio, who said, I get that you don't know anyone from the studio personally, that we might as well be evil robots or trained murder pigeons or whatever for all you know. But if your takeaway from the last 6 months of Apex is these diabolical lying money geniuses know exactly what they're doing to surgically extract our soul for cash, then oh buddy. Personal opinion here from a grunt in the trenches. The last project this team put out was a $60 box product that I love. I assume we were stuck doing that until the heat death of the universe, but lo and behold, Apex. I'm super proud of the leadership and business teams for getting us from the $60 at the door or GTFO nerds sales model to $0 to play, no pay to win, cosmetics and battle pass keep the lights on. Obviously, we don't have it all to a science yet, but I got to work on gameplay stuff today that everyone will play for free in X weeks/months, and that's cool. So I feel like that's just a wholesome way to wrap the whole thing up. Still understand people's anger. It getting personal from both sides sucked to see.
Yeah. My only gripe with Apex is they lock characters out you have to pay for.
Yeah.
I kind of wish it was more the Overwatch model.
Can't you earn all of them?
You can.
It's kind of a grind.
Yeah. I mean, I grinded for a character. It's fine. But overall,
It does take a while.
most characters play the same, more or less. The gunplay is the same. And so as far as free-to-play games go, it's on my preferable list. It's not bad. And I like the idea that no matter what I buy, doesn't mean I'm going to be better than somebody else.
Yeah, they didn't make
So.
it pay to win, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very
I mean,
happy
unless
with that.
pay to win. I mean, at some point, if there's so many characters and you're a new player and you're like, oh, well, you got to get the new character.
Yeah, that was always the
doesn't
league
feel that
problem
way.
that I had.
Yeah.
So it would be 18,000 characters.
Mhm.
And they each have their own movesets and unique like status effects and things like that. So when Apex starts adding stealth and like poison and vision impairment, and that's when it starts to get a little rough. Because if you're a new player and you
You have
don't
to
know any of
understand
these
them all.
characters, gosh,
Yeah.
you just get swamped.
For the most part, though, those games are decided by gunplay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right.
I prefer that.
Yeah.
How long until there's like an off-the-shelf version you can buy that comes with the skins and all the characters unlocked, and it
That's a
doesn't
good
have a disc
question.
in it?
I kind of wish they would have done like
would.
a founders pack, something like that, where it's like pay $60 now. I think I gave the game $60 because I put enough hours into it, like 20 hours, and I was like, that's about what I would have paid into a game. So I was like, take my money, you deserve it.
I think that's a phenomenal thing that Apex is a free-to-play game. Even the free-to-play section of it is still, by itself, better than $60 multiplayer shooters that came out 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's like kind of old man yells at cloud. You can't tell somebody who's mad right now that they have it way better than anyone else did. But it's nice having that perspective, I think.
It's also nice having. I get this is the model you have to go down, but I mean, you remember playing like Unreal 2004, and it was relevant until Unreal 2005 came out, and then your favorite shooter wouldn't be supported anymore.
Expansion packs that only 3 people had. So,
I think it's cool that like CS:GO is still being supported, like those types of games, and they're being supported by mechanics that I'm not exactly fond of. But if it's an optional thing that I don't have to touch, and it means that I can go back to a game years later and they go, oh, they've still been updating it. I think that's kind of cool.
That's what I was thinking. Is like, people are mad about $170 axe, but there are knife skins that sell for $5,000. So I guess it's just like how you educate the audience and get them to being okay with that kind. Granted, it's not an official sale. Like I think there's something different if it's a first-party sale and they're actually asking you for that money instead of a skeezy third-party website. But that's the valuation of that marketplace. And the people that play that game seem cool with it, despite you're talking about gambling to kids and stuff like that. Ugh.
Yeah.
Game with the kids?
Gambling.
I think getting to that point just takes a really long time.
I think so.
And I feel like they aren't at that point yet. It
Makes
was
you wonder
basically
the
like
discussions happening.
very little to $150 axe. What
Yeah.
the fuck? So it's just the ramp is what has been really off-putting
It
people.
makes me wonder what's going to happen when Destiny goes free to play. Because like there's like the raid jacket you can buy for like $77,000.
I'm
Or
sorry,
you
what?
Yeah, it's listed on their website under a ludicrous price, or you beat the raid and you get to buy it for like
you get
80.
a discount code that knocks it down to a normal price.
Exactly, yeah.
Everything in that
That's pay to
store
win.
Jacob owns.
That's pay to win in life, baby. If I had 77 grand, I could walk around looking like a pro gamer and not actually have to earn it. Hell yeah.
Just gonna say it. Destiny's a cult.
Yeah,
You
A
heard it
little
here.
bit, yeah.
If
Pretty
they
much every MMO is a
if-
cult.
if they were going to start a like camp Destiny, where they're like, you come move into a compound with us.
Oh, I want to do that.
See,
I mean, that's.
we have to recruit a friend.
I've been thinking about the Black Mirror episode where the dude's just like biking to buy like accessories for his little avatar all day. That's basically
Yeah.
where
When
we're
he
going.
fucks a pig? I haven't seen a lot of
That's
episodes.
you're
Yeah.
thinking the first
Different
season.
episodes, but same season,
got
yeah.
it.
It's more like how do you turn people playing Destiny into GDP, which I guess is machine learning. Once you hook an AI to that to really analyze how humans work in a virtual environment, then that becomes a product that you can subsidize. Anyway,
I don't like it.
It's where it's going, I think.
Scary.
You got to solve captchas for a living, just so you can tell computers where crosswalks
I
are.
would pay someone to level up my Destiny character. I
Jacob's
would
right there.
do
Yeah,
that.
he
He'll
would
do it.
do it for free.
Yeah, you're probably
he would
right.
pay you.
Please? I want to start fresh. He could just start his own account. It's cool. But speaking of other video games, which is a segue that I just did, Death Stranding.
I was
Yes!
wondering what video game you were going to mention.
Yes!
So we got a little more Death Stranding news, a solid chunk of gameplay.
Norman
and,
Petus
Oh, shit.
just came up with that one.
Don't touch. Oh,
Bang.
they did it.
and trailers at Gamescom. And I am going to have the three of you tell me as exactly as possible what you think the full plot of Death Stranding is going to be.
You want to just hot potato it?
Well,
Like you start,
Popcorn
I'll
reading.
I'll pick up after you.
I want it to be each of you specific so we can see who was the closest when the game
Hands
comes out.
off my theory, Kovic.
But one thing we did learn,
Your theory's as crappy as mine.
one thing we did learn, which was valuable, is that Kojima revealed that the game revolves around ghost babies. He said the main character, Sam, who plays Control, cares for a baby that must be comforted as he goes about his day. Kojima also revealed a character with a tragic backstory, a woman who gave birth to a baby in another world. She stays in a room so she can pretend to feed it and give it comfort. And then we also got a character trailer of Guillermo del Toro's character,
Dead Man.
Dead Man,
Not to be
who's
confused
not
with-
voiced
Well,
by Guillermo del
Yeah, there's
Toro.
also Die Hard Man and Heart Man.
Yep,
right?
there's the man who dies every 23 minutes.
I think there's like
Yeah, Die Hard
bicycle,
likes
Charlie
That's Die Hard
Chaplin.
Man.
That's Nicholas Winding Refn.
there's
Yes,
bicycle
sir.
repairman,
Metal
couch-
Man,
Oh,
couch
deep
man.
cut.
Yeah,
Fine man. It's
Dr. Wily,
Is that
it's
Python?
wild.
yeah, it's
Superman.
So
It's
I'm
great.
going to start with you,
super
Connor.
R, man.
Can you tell me
Subpar man.
what
Oh.
you think the plot of Death Stranding is going to
I'm
be,
first?
start to finish? Yep.
Okay.
You have
This
2
is like when I
minutes.
have to order at a restaurant first. I usually wait the extra 30 seconds. Okay, so this is great because I have to pee right now, so I'm in the perfect
Excellent.
headspace. as I understand it, Sam Bridges, who works for the Bridges Company and has a hat that says Bridges, gets this baby. It seems like it's his first because he doesn't understand how it works. He seems to be finding all these people between Jeff Keighley, Guillermo del Toro, Margaret Qualley from whatever. My
Troy
2 minutes
Baker's
are,
in there.
Yeah, Troy Baker's in there somewhere. He's just like, they don't seem to be out in the world. He seems to find them. So he seems to be clearly going across America, even though it looks more like Scotland. And I think that this baby is different than other babies, and maybe they don't actually die at the end of their shelf life, but they don't want people to have them for too long because maybe it does grow up, but they don't want to face the reality of these objects they're using to sense BTs. Don't remember what that means.
Beached things.
Oh, yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Bormantitis.
The BTs are like the main bad guy. We know that much.
I think that this baby, I don't know, something tells me that he's going to keep it for longer than he's supposed to, and he's going to find something that this is like an apocalyptic kind of scenario, it seems. But I also think there's like some kind of like shadow government that's like giving misinformation to Norman Reedus, because that feels very Kojima to me.
Yeah.
I brushed shoulders with him at E3 a couple years ago, so I've got a pretty good read on this.
You'll live
Excellent.
forever.
Yeah. I have had a running theory that the baby is Norman Reedus.
Oh, I like that.
Mm.
I'm gonna. That's part of mine now too. I just
Parallel
co-opted
time.
it. Yeah.
and
Good
shit.
theory.
You can't steal
Thanks.
that. All right, Adam.
So the baby is Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Norman Reedus is Hideo Kojima because Hideo Kojima is insane and he wants to believe that he's a movie star, awesome dude. It's also Mads Mikkelsen.
So he's telling...
He's both. He wants to pretend that they're both his fathers.
What's Mads' name? Oil Man?
Sad man.
Is it actually Sad
I
Man?
think it's Lippman.
Glenn.
Todd?
Peterson.
Okay, so the whole
So-
thing is a metaphor for the development of Metal Gear Solid
So
5
the
Phantom
government
Oh, interesting.
is Konami,
Right.
and the BTs are the pachinko machines that are secretly running the world, and they're constantly coming after his baby.
Pain. Right.
And
His baby.
and he wants to work on it for just 9 more months at a time. And if he can just get to California, like the kid from The Wizard, he can deliver it, and he'll finally make an ending in there that actually makes sense. That is what we deserve.
Excellent.
I'm very bitter on that.
So far, I would vote for Connors over
I know.
Adams.
I would too.
But I appreciate the creativity on both parts.
I'm the
Before we
inside
get-
gamer.
Exactly. Before we get to Lawrence's,
Yes.
we do need to do another ad read. This one is from Hims.
This podcast is sponsored by Hims, which is a telemedicine wellness service for men. Specifically, in this case, they'd like you to consider your hair. Is it thinning? If so, and you'd like to take action to prevent the thinning of your hair, you can do so through Hims. I've actually used the service and currently use it. I basically went onto the website. There was paired with a doctor. They asked me to send in some photos of my hairline, the front, the back, the sides. I did take it, but since I was like kind of doing this thing with my phone, it got a little blurry. They actually looked at them, said it wasn't conclusive enough to see that I had a thinning hairline, asked me to send in another photo. So some human did review it at some point. And they actually saw some thinning hairlines, which I thought I saw too. So, I'm getting up there in years. I'm 35. That's about when it starts hitting. So I wanted to take proactive action to make sure I retain this lovely mane. And now I got a prescription for finasteride and I take it every day. So hopefully I will have a thick head of hair for the rest of my life all over my body. You don't see it now, but boy, it's just growing everywhere. I'm like a Sasquatch over here. If you'd like to try it out, you can get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today while supplies last. Please see the website for full details and safety information. But you can get that at forhims.com/dude. Once more, that's forhims.com/dude. Protect your lovely hair today. Thank you, Hims.
Okay.
Rope and stick. I've been reading up a lot about this.
All right. What is the plot of Death Stranding?
Let me lay it out for you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Human beings are not connected anymore. Love is gone. Everyone's got combative. And that has weakened the barrier between the realm of the living and the realm of the dead. So now the dead are walking among the living, trying to drag the living to the dead side of things, another reality. Sam, this is like becoming a studied scientific phenomenon. So to repair the boundary between worlds, some stupid Bridges company or whatever, they figure out that they have to reconnect civilization. And to do that, you have to communicate. So Sam is going around reactivating all these communication nodes so that various bastions of human civilization can actually talk to each other again.
This all sounds right so far.
Restoring love and peace and harmony. I'm going to guess that the actual game will have some sort of combat mechanic where, like, the more you fight, the more you get beset by the BTs. They even
BTs.
they even had a thing where they, like, So the BB is actually connected to a, what do they call it, a dead mom?
Still mother.
Still mother, yeah. A mother who is dead, but then they can like by proxy replicate the womb, so the baby still thinks
She's
in
in
the womb.
a coma, right? Or
Yeah.
comatose in some way.
So that connection to death allows Sam to be able to detect the dead. Where are you going, Adam?
I'm sorry. I'm here. What's up?
So
Whales.
Halo.
So yeah, I think the game is going to be in like the way that Kojima's games, when he's at his most artful, are allegories for problems facing society. Whether that's the information society in Metal Gear Solid 2, the privatization of the military in Metal Gear Solid 4. I think he sees a lot of conversations on the internet getting very polarizing and divisive, and I think he's making a game that's a parable for where the world will go if we cease to understand each other or empathize with each other anymore.
What's Jeff Keighley's character?
Well, that's a theme, not a plot.
Stage man.
I don't think there is a plot.
Okay, well, we have only mostly seen walking, climbing ladders, and peeing.
I think it's open world traversal with like little mini plays with characters that you run into. And then once you activate all the nodes, then there might be some in-game sequence of like narrative. But I don't think it's Kojima style in the sense that you'll be sitting there watching cutscenes for hours and hours and hours as they.
Oh, I definitely think there'll be some fun
No,
cutscenes.
I mean, with those actors, with that talent,
But all the actors we've seen, they just give you their little tale of woe and then send you on your way. I don't think that.
so no, actually, you're right though, because so Metal Gear Solid 4, which you're replaying right now,
Yeah.
those cutscenes are
Woof.
2 days long.
At
That's
least.
why I stopped playing that game. Drove me crazy.
But that you could do that with non-union actors because
Oh,
you keep them there
interesting.
all day. If you get Kiefer Sutherland, he's got to get going. So when you
Yeah,
do Metal Gear
it's
Solid
all
5, he says about 4 words and moves on, and then go,
Okay.
no, it makes sense in the story. No, it didn't.
Colonel.
But I mean, but none of it's barely that voice.
Too expensive.
Yeah,
to
you're
do
right.
anything
Yeah,
about.
so-
he was a
Absolutely.
smoother Snake. I actually
So when
really
you
liked
when
him.
you have all these big name actors, and Sony's fitting the bill, you're not going to get a lot of time for reshoots, and so you're probably just working with what you got. It actually probably makes more sense why that's more likely the reason why other voice actors are doing Guillermo del Toro's and Nicholas Winding Refn's voice, because they wouldn't be able to come back and do it. So Norman Reedus is probably doing the most, probably him and Troy Baker, I imagine, doing
It's
the most
also that
work.
they're potentially not good voice actors.
Mads Mikkelsen, I think, too, is probably like I think all the side characters you're seeing of Die Hard Man and Mama and stuff like that. Like you'll go to those areas in the world and they'll be like, "Here's my story," and then they'll give you some weird anime shit to think about, and then they'll just kick Sam back into the open world, and you got to go to the next thing. So I think it's going to be a series of like Japanese poems to tell you about the value of communication and empathy.
Interesting. I mean, we know that BB stands for Bridge Baby.
Yes.
So that makes
BB.
sense with the idea that it would be like
Bridge
bridging
Baby.
between the two somehow. Like maybe they're somehow babies of both parallel worlds.
Since it's connected to a dead mom, it has like
Yeah.
it can
Still
see
mother.
the realm of the dead, which
Both.
allows like by hooking it to your weird little like satellite dish thing, it allows you to detect the BTs,
So-
BTs, whatever.
So as I understand it, the BB, the Bridge Baby, is connected to a woman that is still in the physical world through some kind of
Like
Neuralink.
bridge,
Neuralink.
if you
Yeah.
will. But Mama has a baby that's on the other side, and and
But she still has like
she still
virtual-
has it, but
virtual
also
baby.
his little sensor definitely reacts negatively towards it, and I'm wondering how that all works because
Yeah.
like, is that how unlike that? How unlike is that baby from the one he's carrying? I guess I'm thinking a little bit
I
too
feel like
logistically about it.
they're almost from different planes, so they should, in theory, be super different. One of them's like from a foreign
Right.
plane.
The bridge baby's still alive.
Yeah.
And I guess it's connected through the mother to
It's
the other
connected
side. Like
because
her
it's-
psyche is there.
Yeah, because it thinks it's in a dead womb.
Right.
It I guess half exists in both realities because it's not a
yeah,
person yet.
Yeah.
So by like feeding off of the vibes of the half dead baby,
I feel like it's almost in limbo, maybe. Like it's in both.
If someone
that's-
were to tune in halfway through this conversation, which anime do you think they would think
It's crazy because this game's not even out, and we're already like, when it comes out, we're gonna do the same shit. We're gonna be like, what does it mean still?
Except we'll also be very frustrated. Like, I don't know why the ladder doesn't go up and only goes down.
that's also a game mechanic. Like that's how you time how far out from any of those nodes you can get because your baby starts freaking out.
Yeah.
And then once it shuts down, then the BTs just get you and you have no way of knowing where they are.
That seems
So it's
to
probably
be-
like just a mechanical trigger.
That
Yep.
seems to be the divide right now, though, because a lot of people, when they made the joke at Gamescom, where they're like, "And here's some gameplay," and everyone's like, "Ha ha ha! ha, You're so funny." It's like a meme, basically.
I
but-
like that. Kojima leans into
Yes,
his own memes.
and for every one of you, there's another person who goes, "What the hell is this game?" Like,
I'm
what?
gonna be so frustrated when it comes out.
So I think a lot of people are either
can't
gonna.
wait.
I think they're gonna. I mean,
excited.
this is not a hot take. People, I think, are either gonna love it or hate it. because I don't think it's. My guess is all the combat is going to be in the underworld or whatever.
I don't think there's going to be combat.
Yeah.
I think it's
They already
going
showed
to be
He like
combat.
swings at them.
We've
They
seen
showed you
very
running away from
little.
stuff.
Oh, he like breaks
Yeah.
loose of things.
You
right?
like hit him with a briefcase, but then you go into the underworld and you have
Yeah.
a gun and
Well, they talk. Oh, that's right. There were like World War I sequences.
yeah.
Oh, that's
So I
true.
feel like that's how they're going to get away with doing combat because the real world stuff is supposed to be touchy feely and pee.
Oh yeah, if you go into the realm of the dead, it makes sense that that's more combat focused.
It becomes more of a video game there.
Well, Kojima did also describe P as being a key.
Oh, it's a weapon too, right?
I mean,
So
it's-
he like Norman Reedus peed and then a mushroom grew or something.
Yeah, I saw
Big
that.
mushroom.
Yeah.
That's so
That
So I
weird.
feel like
happen with you
his
guys?
pee does something.
Is it something he's drinking?
So like water is already like a philosophical thing in that world. It's like what is it? Timefall. It causes
Yeah,
things
timefall.
to accelerate.
Which
I
is
don't think
super
his
cool.
piss is going to do that.
Like
but-
how there's just so many. This is the thing that gets me. There are so many little lore things that I'm like, how are you going to pull all this together, dog?
I mean, he
you got
doesn't- he
Timefall
doesn't have to.
and the BBs.
My hope is that he did the pee thing as a
BTs.
joke only so people like us would go, what does the pee mean? And he's just going, ha, 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 ha. Pee's just for putting on my face.
That
Like,
That happens in the first 7 minutes and then
Yeah.
it's never seen again. But the milliliter
Yeah.
keeps filling
Yeah.
up. It's like, how do I do
And
this?
his walk animation gets worse and worse as the game goes on.
got
And there's
kidney
no way to
stones.
piss ever again.
I mean, that actually does kind of bring to mind something I was thinking is like, I don't know if it seems like maybe this is some hunch. I don't know where I got it, but like, I don't know what fail states look like in this game. Like, I feel
I
like
don't
if
think there
your
are
bridge
any.
baby
There's
doesn't
none.
work, you
Well,
can probably still play through it maybe, but it's
when
more
you
difficult.
die, you go to that other realm.
Yeah, but they talk about that
That's
being a
a
place for
gameplay
you
mechanic.
to collect like power ups and then come back to the world. So
Yeah.
I think there is a fail state, and it may yank you away from where you are in the living world. So it's like you're at a node, you put your dumb little dog tags in there and activate it or whatever, and restore it as like a communication. I don't know. And then you're like, okay, where's the next nearest one? And you try to make your way there. You die. You go to the land of the dead.
Mm-hmm.
You walk through. You shoot some people. You pick up some rations or whatever, and then you pop back out at the node you started at. So it's like checkpoint something.
Mm-hmm.
But I really doubt they're gonna just dump you to a game over screen.
No.
look,
yeah.
we'll find out in a year when the game comes out, right?
November 8th, 2019.
Oh, dear God.
I am
And
so excited.
I'm excited too, but I'm not excited
Shouldn't be
because
clapping.
I don't think any of the gameplay that I've seen looks fun at all. But I'm extremely curious, and I can't wait to see how this one's reviewed. I feel like we're gonna get some tens of people who are like, it was art and it was a reflection of society,
Well, they're gonna
and
get
then some
blinded
that were
by
like, I
production
was fucking
values.
bored.
So I really enjoy transversal in Zelda, and I get a whole lot of vibes about that. How like the game is figuring out how to cross open ground, of like climbing mountains, crossing rivers. Granted, Zelda had some spice on top of it, like there were enemies, which I guess Death Stranding does too. So
Also surf on your
Well,
shield.
Death Stranding's
Yeah.
still supposed to be a horror
It's a dog.
action.
Zadar.
There's
There's a
supposed to be
dog.
horror elements. It's supposed to like the threat is still that you die in the open world, where in Zelda it's like you burn to death and you freeze to death.
and also like he always covers his mouth when the BTs are around. So I wonder if it's like a heat thing, and that's maybe what piss does. Sorry, I'm back to it.
maybe I
Like you
assumed
pee in
that
a little
was.
puddle, it's like predators get attracted.
I
to
assumed that was like they could smell his breath or something because he's
Maybe.
alive objectively.
Take a mint.
Who knows?
Wear a
I am
mask.
excited
mouth?
for the conversation
my
surrounding
mouth.
this game, though, for everyone to talk about it and us all to like see these theories come to life. Because every time a new trailer is revealed, these conversations are really fun to me. He could keep releasing trailers, and I would continue to be like, "Yes, more short film. What is it?"
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
fascinating stuff.
I don't think there will be a conclusive answer by the time the game finishes.
Probably.
Do you think it'll be
not.
standalone?
Yes.
Or okay.
I
Did
don't-
he already say that? I don't know if
Kojima
it'll
doesn't
be-
strike me as somebody who really enjoys doing sequels. It seems like he kind of gets pushed into it because they become commercial successes.
Yeah, I don't think they said that, but I do know that it was this like recently resurfaced because Sony took it off of their PS4 exclusives page. It was announced as a game that would eventually come to PC, and everyone's just sort of forgotten about that.
Ray tracing.
Yeah, so they said it would be PS4 and then PC eventually, and you know a lot of people are like, well, but how would that work when it's Guerrilla's engine, the Decima engine, because Sony owns that engine technically. But
Right.
yeah, they did announce it as a game that was coming to PC, so also worth noting.
When will it be on Vita?
It already is.
Thank you.
Just nobody plays that anymore, so nobody
That's
remembers.
sad.
R.I.P.
Got a Daisy
Vita.
Duck.
You can
10
only
Vitas
use
together.
the touchpad on the back to control it. Right?
Aw.
You have to make a suit of Vitas, screens facing inward. And once every part of your flesh is covered with Vitas, you will
Jump
be
off a
transported.
And then you have to
Oh.
pee on it.
Yeah.
Oh.
It has to be the original OLED model. Can't be that new
No,
garbage
no.
one.
If only one is the new trash one, you are out. It will short out and fry you.
So for other cool Gamescom announcements, I mean, there were plenty. But Cyberpunk is coming to Google Stadia. Stadia.
How much ray tracing is it going to have?
Didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I guess it's whatever the computer can do back at the old computing
server farm.
base. Yeah.
Yeah. What a ray tracing, actually.
Well, it's a
What ray
cloud.
tracing
Yeah.
problem.
I'm sure it will be like peak PC performance.
I'm actually curious to see a Stadia version versus like a PS4 version of how the game runs and looks. That is something that interests me. Because then if it plays better and looks better to somebody, then they can go, well, this makes more sense to me. I doubt, I don't know. I think it's for psychopaths, but
I think if you're in a major urban center, you have like quality internet. Like Stadia versus next gen could actually be an interesting call. But Stadia doesn't have all the games that a next gen console would have yet. So, and they keep rolling out these partnerships, no exclusives.
They did announce an exclusive, which is Guilt, made by Tequila Works, who made Rime.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's a pretty great studio, but haven't made any like huge games. So
didn't know that. Okay,
yeah,
never mind. I
I
thought
think
it
that
was-
was just announced at their press conference. So
no Death Stranding.
it is no Death Stranding. That's true. Get wrecked, Google Stadia. Another big piece of news, which we don't need to linger on, is PlayStation officially or Sony officially acquired Insomniac, which is their first studio acquisition in 8 years. The last one was Sucker Punch.
Oh, that's right.
Jesus.
With
Those are two
Infamous
studios
2.
that got mixed up with each other.
Insomniac
different
and Sucker
things?
Punch?
Yeah. Because one made
Insomniac, Sucker Punch, and Naughty Dog are like the trinity that
Is Sucker
kind of
Punch-
gets
because one
cycled
made
around them.
Insomniac and the other one made
What?
I'm not Insomniac. I'm sorry. What's the
Infamous?
game?
Resistance.
Infamous?
Infamous. That's what.
Infamous.
Sorry.
Okay.
What I say?
Yeah, I think it
Insomniac?
was 2011 when they bought them.
I got like
My brain
Resistance
broke.
and Killzone.
No, you said
mixed
it-
up
you said
sometimes.
it-
Oh yeah,
Insomniac.
absolutely. Yeah, they're all. They've
Oh
made
yeah, it
some
was
similar stuff.
Prototype and Infamous were the ones like everyone got
Right.
mixed up with each
Prototype
other.
was Activision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were like games that came out around the same time. You're like,
Oh yeah, they were the same shit.
kind of like you were a lot slower in Infamous, but I don't know.
I loved
Infamous had
Prototype.
like
Second Son was dope.
Infamous.
had
named
Foghorn
McGrath.
Leghorn yelling at you over your intercom
Cody
every
McGrath.
2 minutes.
Shut up.
Yep.
Yeah, Cole McGrath,
Cole, not Cody.
coolest dude ever.
Cole is a great protagonist
like
name.
this. It was pretty cool.
Head and lightning hands.
Bald,
What if
white
I were
guy.
good but bad at the same time?
I could choose.
Some kind of hero, but anti against that sort of idea.
What if there was a meter or
I
something?
don't want to commit all the way.
I'm like bad, but not bad.
Deep.
Cole.
I liked Prototype because he was bad.
Yeah, he's
you
the
were the
villain in the
villain.
second
You were
game.
just the bad guy. It was
Yeah,
great. And you could,
yeah. You go around eating people during a boss fight. Are
Hell
you
yeah.
really helping them, Alex? Are you?
yeah.
I have
Don't
a
know about
jacket
that.
from Prototype 2, except now the zipper just pops open.
That
for
thing
no
weighed
reason.
85 pounds.
Yes, it's
cool.
very heavy.
That was the first game that I got 1,000 gamer score on.
sick.
Wow.
Prototype.
Nice.
It was very easy.
Never played it.
It's good fun.
It's okay.
Infamous is also good. Though.
Getting mixed reviews on Prototype.
And then
Like Fight
Saint-
Night round 3.
I fucking love Fight Night. Saints Row 4 also plays like both of those games, but on
Ah.
crack.
Yep.
with the
Take your
big,
pick, Connor.
With the big dick bat, right?
Gat
Take
out
your
of
pick.
hell.
I played some of Saints Row 4.
All right.
2 and 3 are the best ones.
Did not play those.
It's hot takes raining from the
Yeah.
sky.
2, I think 2 is still probably the best one.
Some other cool Gamescom stuff real quick. This one's just for me. Little Nightmares 2 got announced. I really liked the first
Oh,
game.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know, so I wanted to share that. That game is awesome.
Is
That's
that
great to
co-op?
hear.
It seemed from the
the
trailer
first
like
one wasn't? I don't know. Maybe
no, the
second
first one
is.
wasn't. I played
You're
the
thinking
first
of
one.
Yarny, you idiot.
Yarny Sue.
Little Nightmares
Classic
is,
indie
is
darling from
basically
EA?
evil Yanni. So
It's Tim Burton's Yarny.
No, I
Pretty much.
played Little Nightmares, but the second one looks like co-op.
yeah, maybe I don't know. I,
I
didn't
think
see
there
gameplay.
seems to be another child.
Seems like,
Okay.
based on the
Thing.
mechanics of the first game, that could actually get infuriating.
Yeah.
Because there was so much like jump, crawl, climb through these things while something's
get
stalking
caught
you.
by yeah.
So if somebody
stalking
falls behind and they get dead, does that mean you have to start over?
I'm sure they. Think
There's probably a
that through before
revival.
doing
Well,
it.
I
You're
don't
gonna
even know
like
if it's co-op.
bash your friend over the head with a controller because they can't make this jump for the 18th time because some hideous knife stab monster's coming after you.
But also, that was like one of my problems with Little Nightmares was the perspective
Mm.
and the like sort of 3-2D. Like
I
I would
remember
like
that last bit where it looks like Spirited Away, where all the pigs are eating and you're like running between them. The perspective on that was
yes,
ridiculously
yeah.
fun.
I was just constantly like misjudging where I was
Yeah.
on the platform.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they fix that in the second game, which
I liked
might
it,
be
though.
co-op. We're not sure.
Art before mechanics, always. I don't
Yeah,
care.
classic Lawrence.
Can I throw out the little gem
Nightmare?
of Gamescom that no one's talking about?
Yeah.
Elgato made a capture card that can capture at 240 frames a second. Where
Damn.
can you watch it? Nowhere.
What? Yeah, can an HDMI cord even do that?
It
I
could
think you
capture
need
that Ang
things
Lee
displayed.
movie that played at 120 FPS.
Oh, really?
Billy something's halftime whatever.
We
That was-
created
Yeah.
a capture card specifically to pirate Ang Lee's movie.
Finally.
Ang Lee's Elgato.
But it was like 1080p, 240, and then like you can capture 100. You do 1440p, 144 frames.
That's cool.
Which
Congrats,
I-
Adam.
you
I'm
can
very
do that
excited
already.
for you.
Wait, no, you can't.
No,
Never
you
mind.
can't. It
Yeah,
can't
that's
capture
right.
at that.
144060 is what it is.
I'm only excited about that because that means will YouTube or Twitch or somebody
Yeah, because
start
60
supporting.
is basically the highest hertz
Yeah.
it goes, right?
I'm curious to see if people start supporting 120 frames or 144 frames video somewhere because that's gonna be expensive.
I
Yeah.
streamed to 3 platforms in 4K the other night. Like I was streaming simultaneously on Mixer, Twitch, and
12K.
YouTube
Tech
4K.
queen.
And my ISP assumed something was wrong and then destroyed my internet.
Nice.
It was like it lasted like an hour and a half of beautiful 4K, and then they were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Because it's like
Terrible.
40 megabit per stream, right?
Yeah.
Blah.
Picturing like a paper got printed out in like an underground base and got rushed down a hallway and someone
It was
slammed
just
it on
an
a desk and they're
exclamation
like,
point.
"You're gonna want to see this, sir."
Cancel, cancel.
Gotta root around and find his reading
Yeah,
glasses.
definitely destroyed my streams.
Ah!
but
Call the president!
Yeah.
It worked
Call the
for a
president
good
of the
hour.
internet! Slaps a big red button.
That's illegal.
He goes, the 4K's going out.
That's far too many Ks.
It's from inside the apartment.
Sir, there hasn't been a 4K here in 50 years.
And then I got arrested.
Oh.
Yeah, fun police.
Yeah, Matrix is a thing.
Yeah.
Together.
The people are excited about. Witcher 3, people have been playing that on Switch, and supposedly it's actually pretty solid, not a lot of
damn.
frame rate drops. And a bunch of people played the Avengers game, which is their first time playing it. And
They watched.
No, they've actually played it now.
He was making a joke
Joke.
about the
That
non-interactive
it's not a
nature
fun
of it.
game to play and that you watch
Oh.
it as though it were a movie.
Like the
Bang.
Kojima game.
It's
Oh,
it's
the
like I
Death
think
Stranding
you played the
one.
same way that kid played that Kinect Star Wars demo when he went yeah, and then but he was basically just mimicking what was happening on screen. I don't know.
That was
I
all I did.
remember watching
It's just that all the stuff we've seen seems like extremely pre-rendered, but I want to see what happens when you like get into an open
That's-
world.
Well, that's
I don't know
why
if
I
that
read the
exists.
previews. 'cause
It's
I
all the
feel like
prologue.
it gives you a little more information.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
It's
I
the
mean-
tutorial where you run down a hallway and then a piece of rock falls, you have to crouch, and then 3 dudes run up and they're like, use your grenade, and you have to right bumper.
Yeah.
It-
So skeptical
The
about
demo takes place just on the bridge, right? On San
Whole
Francisco.
game's on
Yeah,
the
that's
bridge.
it.
Yeah.
2 minutes on
Beginning
that
to end,
bridge.
it's one. It's the
actually an
longest
arcade
bridge.
game.
Yeah, the bridge falls down, and then Iron Man's like, man, remember when we were on that bridge? And then it waves and it starts over again.
Haha, shawarma.
And
Credits. And then post-credit sequence is just the bridge again.
well, it's Nick Fury, and he's like, "I'm putting a team together. Like, we're already together." And he goes, "Oh," and he eats shawarma. Yeah. But it looks like David
Spider-Man.
Hasselhoff.
So it's bleeped out because they can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
All right, before we wrap up today's Dude Soup, I did have to hear from another sponsor of this podcast, which is Bespoke Post. Take your summer to a whole other level and upgrade your life with new seasonal box of awesome collections from Bespoke Post. Bespoke Post is a brand that sends you monthly boxes full of uniquely cool products, and they've got you covered this summer. From grooming goods to barware, cooking tools, and outdoor gear, Box of Awesome has carefully built collections for every part of your life. I had a look through the website recently, and I particularly love their Cannonball box right now. If I had a pool, I would be all over this. It has this inflatable dragon tube. It's literally an inflatable dragon that you can float in a pool in. It's very cool. And then little inflatable dragon drink holders that have fire coming out of their mouths, so that when you're floating, you can also keep your drinks floating next to you in the pool, and that is the best. It also comes with a cool silicone cup and some frozen pop molds. Hell yeah. So if you want to get started, take the quiz at boxofawesome.com, and your answers will help them pick the right box of awesome for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories, and it's free to sign up. Plus, you can skip a month or cancel anytime you like. Each box costs only $45, but has over $70 worth of gear inside. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code DUDE at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code DUDE for 20% off your first box.
Should I go get the knives? There's so many
I
knives.
guess, yeah.
They keep sending us knives.
Really?
Yeah.
Careful.
So, to wrap up
Got some things to cut.
today's episode,
Got knives.
Sorry.
I did want to share some channel stuff. So we're currently, a bunch of games are coming out right now. So we're trying to push them out for relevancy. So
We're getting the games out.
Yeah,
We're
we're
doing
releasing the games. Now we're trying to get gameplays up for relevancy. So we've got Control, Man of Medan that nobody knows how to pronounce, and also should have Blair Witch. So all of these games are coming out. We're making content around them. It's very exciting. Somehow at the end of August got very packed. Not exactly sure what our release schedule for those will be, but we thought we'd check because people have been asking if we're going to be playing them. And then Thursday morning at 11 a.m., so I guess this will already have happened if you're watching this on YouTube. What time does it go up?
6 a.m.
Okay, it will not have.
There's a hot window there where this is relevant.
Yeah, 11 to 11:30 a.m. PT on Thursday. We'll be doing our first of hopefully a bunch of first exclusive, so that's Rooster Teeth first member exclusive Q&A streams. So you can come hang out with us on the Rooster Teeth website. We'll answer a bunch of questions, hang out. It will kind of be like the post show used to be for people who saw that. We'll share some fan art. And I was going to say, if you're watching on the Rooster Teeth website, leave comments below this video if you have any questions, and we'll throw those into a document so we can start doing a kind of more relaxed Q&A, less open house comment show, more just genuinely chatting with you guys. So yeah,
Don your internet armor because I want this to be combat.
No.
I want to out respawn.
if I don't call one of you Chucklefucks an ass hat by the end of it, it's a failure.
Yeah.
You bunch of freeloaders. Wait, no, you're not.
Hit us with your hardest, most probative Rooster Teeth questions.
Literally the opposite of a freeloader.
We're qualified
Thank
to
you for
answer
your
those.
subscription. Yeah, so if you're not a first member,
Payloaders.
sign up to that on your roosterteeth.com, I think.
But not paying enough. Is there some kind of double first? Actually, I think there might be.
And then also a quick little shout out. I think there's a video coming out this weekend. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Siberia
What?
Part 2.
Really?
I think so.
Cool.
I made the
I
thumbnail.
hope that you're right about that. Otherwise, that would be disappointing for everyone.
Yeah.
Also, I'm
It's-
going to tentatively say we're in the process of planning the Drunk Super Mario Maker stream for this Friday.
Holy crap, that's right.
However, I'm on call for jury duty this week. So,
Guilty.
Yes.
He did it.
I mean, I will absolutely say whoever's guilty that I have to, but every night I'm checking and they keep saying I don't have to report in. But if I do, I mean, I'm not letting these people drink without me. So
Maybe we could do like a B plot where you're drunk at the courthouse
Hey, I like
and
that.
we have like a live feed.
GoPro.
Oh,
Brilliant.
That's a lot on court.
also,
Yeah.
just to tease it out, because it will happen eventually, even if it doesn't happen this Friday. But I plan to make this the world's first Super Mario Maker White Claw play. So look forward to that.
Well, now people are going to steal our idea.
No, they're
Lawrence.
not.
They got 2 days.
There's all kinds of hard seltzers they
It's
can
so
do.
easy
The
to
Four
get that
Loko
game
one,
and White
Trulies,
Claw.
yeah.
Bush, Bone, and Viv.
Your natty light hard seltzers.
Are you making these up?
No, I'm not. One looks.
These are real drinks that
Yeah.
You
college
can also
kids
just
have for the
mix
first
LaCroix
time.
and vodka if you really wanted.
No,
yeah.
Or you can add vodka to a Truly, and then you're really
Or-
in the lab.
just shake up a vodka and then drink that.
Yeah, just irrigate it.
a vodka too.
Just a vodka.
Not a
I'd like a
handful.
vodka,
Yeah.
sir.
I
Can I
don't know
get a
about
can of vodka?
The bottle's plastic, more the better.
that. No.
Yeah, if it's got the handle built in.
Yeah.
Yeah, shotgun.
I got my friend Papoff and Papoff number 2.
Like drinking a pencil.
But yeah, that's
wrong.
basically just some exciting stuff that we wanted to announce that I guess we got carried away with because we don't know if the drunk stream's happening, but hopefully it does.
Fingers crossed.
Or
Yep.
maybe you'll have a great
State
time
of
in jury duty.
California
I
is
don't
going to
know.
decide.
Yeah, I guess so. We won't be able to tell people for sure until
Until Thursday night at
Thursday
7
night.
p.m.
Excellent.
But you found out first.
Maybe.
Members.
Sort
Or-
of.
I don't know. I'm just trying.
It's going to be a wacky.
Kind
I'm-
of found out first.
I'm tentatively planning, there's going to be a side camera, a Hall of Mysteries. So look forward to that.
Like a
Excellent.
dark hole that you put in and you're just touching spaghetti.
Something
but it's brains.
similar, yeah, like or skinned grapes, like it's eyeballs, but better, I think. I still have to come up with what exactly that means, but I've ordered the necessary items off of Amazon, and the website promised me they'll be arriving in time.
I wish I could look through your order history, Lawrence.
Oh, my recommended items are weird, very,
On
very
Amazon?
weird. Yeah, I like having this job because I feel like big data can't really get a fix on me.
I guess I ordered some cosplay stuff on eBay once, and I don't know, the internet community discovered that my eBay order history was public, and someone was like, if you're going to order sex stuff on eBay, you should probably make it private. And I was like, that's just a corset for cosplay purposes.
But it could also be sex. Of
course
I
it
got
could have
into-
been, but it
I got
wasn't.
into a heated bidding war with a perfect butt plug.
Yeah.
But it
You
was
try
for
to outbid
cosplay
me,
purposes.
I outbid you.
There are many butt plugs, but this one is mine.
This
It's
one's perfect.
Well, it is mine now. It is a used one.
a
But
Junji Ito short story.
I feel like Big Data could very well be Jeff Keighley's character's name in
Good.
Death Stranding.
that's where you
I
go
get,
out.
he's a Ludens fan who dances. That's all we know about him, right?
And this.
And he's
Data.
voiced by Matt Mercer, I believe.
Wait, it's not.
But it's
just
not
her.
his voice?
No.
Really? I thought
No.
they were doing mocap by other people, but the voices of his friends.
I mean, Gailmar's not using his voice. It's
Yeah.
somebody else.
He's too busy.
So, yeah.
Well,
He's
I also
producing
think that they maybe
movies.
aren't
like antlers.
voice actors. Like
Yeah.
Kojima's pretty serious
Looks
about
interesting.
Poster look cool.
Yeah.
acting and shit, so it makes sense.
Sorry, we'll talk about a million things all day.
All right.
But
I think
plugs.
that ends it for this episode of Dude Soup. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week or otherwise on the channel because you probably watch more than just Dude Soup.
That's a lie.
Like Inside Gaming.
I will throw this at you.
You're on that show.
Oh yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Flattering? Like if someone came to you and said,
Yeah.
"I think you'd be great in porn," I'd be flattered.
And she was,
Oh, absolutely.
I think
yeah.
she said she was like 21 at the
Getting her
time, rebellious,
Doesn't
and
matter.
also, saw a systemic problem in her own self-worth where she felt like this validated her. So she pursued it and didn't